My guest today, I've been hearing about for 32 years. You just make catchy ass songs, and you do. From what I've seen, I saw a little bit of you in Montreal from very far away, and I'm thrilled to have esteemed artist and teacher, the dapper rapper Powis HJ, with us on the Blocks podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Neal. I'm ready to dive into it.
Great. Yeah. So what did you? I don't really know much about how you came to be.
Basically, a lot of happenstance and I suppose hard work. Starts with, being young and writing little verses here and there. Throughout this interview, you might notice I'll be giving lots of credit to loads of people. Like, for example, I got to just start off by talking about my brothers and how, I wouldn't be so into music, so into hip hop without them and their influences. And to be fair, maybe they wouldn't be so into it without my influence, given that some antics of mine when I was younger caused us to not be allowed to watch TV during the weekdays. And I think that probably nudged us towards enjoying music and listening to CDs for hours on end as opposed to, watching cartoons every day. So there's that. But yeah, basically, if we can run the whole timeline, a little bit of rapping, some freestyles, then you kind of get into, freestyling at lunch, freestyling at the park. I remember in the 7th grade, I would freestyle for like literally 1 hour in a row.
Damn.
I had 2 guys who were a year younger than me following me around, and I'll just rip freestyles about whatever we saw, and their eyes were just so wide. And I thought, oh my gosh, look at me. I must be special. And I felt special. I mean, I was tapping into some stuff that was unbelievable. From there, I think the next kind of big event outside of a few crass freestyles, throughout high school about all the stuff that high schoolers want to hear about, high school boys, I would say. And then you kind of fast forward to the next big jump, which would have been meeting a close friend of mine. Not sure if he wants to be named. Everyone close to me knows who this person is. And just being shown the Inspiration Lab. I'm from Vancouver, so there's the local library. The central branch of downtown Vancouver has a studio setup where you can go and record music, and we would book it out and just go and just rip. We didn't have a long time, so we would get ready, we get in there, we get set up, and we would just unleash. And you had to make your takes count because there was sometimes 4 guys in the studio with 1 hour to record.
Got it.
And in between, setting up and getting the beats queued up and all that, you might get 1 or 2 chances to throw down. So it was really cool to kind of get access to a legit mic. Sure, some of the boys had recorded some freestyles from their, LG chocolate phone microphones from the back of the room where you could hear the beat more than my voice type thing. But now we were in the big leagues with mics, with mic stands and, programs where we could cut and change all of our stuff. It was a huge awakening. And then that led into bedroom studios. And then that led into, being in bigger studios. And that led into doing shows. And basically, this friend of mine, Koju, organized these shows at Lanaloo's, which is an amazing restaurant in Vancouver where you can have hip-hop shows of any kind, live bands, nice stage, accessible venue to rent out. And you rent out a few shows there, and then someone says, hey, I know someone here. And then you meet some people when you're throwing these shows. And I basically met Lana, the owner of the restaurant, introduced me to somebody else that throws hip-hop shows there. His name is Emotions, great rapper and beatboxer, artist overall. And he introduced me to Ndidi Cascade, who really strapped the rocket on my back, had us going around to all the school shows. And that really changed my life and showed me that it is possible to make a living as an artist, which is a thing that I wasn't sure of. And then kind of just got more into getting comfortable being myself and posting more and going out and getting content and doing all that stuff that all the artists say is terrible. And that basically led to having a following and linking up with people that are following me who, you know, want to do a dance video, who want to, you know, promote. And then you find someone, once you're pushing the car, that's when everybody wants to come help you. You know, if you're standing on the side of the road and saying, I just wish someone would help me with my car, no one's going to stop. If you pop it in neutral, start pushing it up the hill. That was me saying start pushing it up the hill. Then everyone else wants to come out and help you out. And that's basically what happened. I remember one time I was speaking to someone and said, and this person had been a close friend of mine for years and been a huge supporter of my music, come to over, 5 concerts of mine in Vancouver. And I said to them, yeah, there's this person who wants to give me a big interview. It could be a big deal for me. And they said, oh my gosh, I know someone that could give you a big interview. And I just thought, you've known me this whole time. You've been a supporter this whole time. And yet now you're telling me. And I think it's just a human thing that when you go after it, there's a whole law of attraction piece here, which hopefully we'll get into. But yeah, basically it was a slow burn and it worked out perfectly. I think I just grew at the perfect speed.
What sort of song did you think you were going to make?
I was leaning into, like I said, we started crass, like real crass. As in, I'm not going to repeat a thing here, crass. But I wanted to make healing type music. I wanted to make music that I could listen back to and go, And that basically I wanted to make music that I wanted to hear. And that was hyper specific references. I'm talking super specific. I'm talking about like a moment from a hang that my buddies and I did, and I would turn that into a lyric because I know that if I listened to it, ages later, I'd go, oh, partly because I love my authenticity. And I find that the more specific I get, the more authentic I am. I was talking to a fellow rapper about this at a local show recently, and I commended him on telling this exact story of this super embarrassing thing he did. Why don't we say that he was at a ping pong tournament and he snapped on a 7-year-old that beat him? Okay. You might be thinking, oh, that's kind of cool. But in the context of the song, it was perfect. And I'll tell you why. So many times, positive rappers, affirmative rappers, conscious rappers will talk about how, let's uplift the community and I was mad, but now I'm not. Sweet. But the thing is, I've heard those songs 100 times from rappers who are at least as good as you, if not way, way better. So I need to hear something to make it different. I'm happy to hear that message again. I just want to hear it packaged differently. Someone's talking about, I'm on the streets, I'm packing a 9, I'm doing this, got all these guns and stuff. I've heard that song 250 times. And some of those that were really good, and I listened to them 250 times. I want to hear about how you snapped at some kid at a ping pong tournament, the exact moment that makes it different from all these other people. That's what I want to know.
Got it.
So the songs I'm making, affirmative songs I can go back and listen to and go, I started playing with it and getting really affirmative, talking about, hey, I met this person, in my songs. Because my songs are so magical that I would speak about them and they would come true. I would tell a half truth in a song and it would come true. So really, Really just wanted to make some bouncy songs I could listen to that would make me feel good and maybe share them with some people who wanted to have that kind of bouncy rap flavor. It could be bouncy, it could be uplifting, it could even be grimy, but it could still be positive the whole way through, because I need to be really, really mindful about what I'm rapping about. Because if I'm rapping about, yo, I was so hurt and she took my heart and stole it and stopped it and killed it and killed. There's a time and a place to write that song. There might even be a time and a place to record that song. Personally, I'm not going to be out performing that song over and over. You know, the universe follows exactly what I say all the time. So I had to make really positive music in order to make sure that the right magic was being attracted to me. And that's what I've been doing. And it's been pretty good so far, I think it's fair to say.
And did you get better at beats? Did the beats get better?
There was a time that I could not complete a beat. There was a time that I needed my homie DJ Robots to even finish a beat, even though I was using what, producers would call the giant mega blocks of beat building, which are pre-recorded loops. I was using the Apple Loop Library, which is a series of kind of musical phrases that are complete, mixed, mastered. They already sound good. They automatically go in key when you drag them into your project. So you can find a drum loop and find some keys, ding, 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 and just drag, and the song's made. And back in the day, of course, my brothers and I would say, you're not actually making music. If you're using loops, you're not making music. You're not a musician. You're dragging and dropping. Until, of course, that fateful day that we heard one of the big bands, Fort Minor, use one of the garage band samples in their song Believe Me, streaming now. So that kind of made us think, okay, well, if these musicians that we respect are using these, we can use these loops. Even so, I was not able to complete a song. I literally would make a beat and I'd get 2/3 of the way there and it would stagnate and I wouldn't be happy with it. I'd bring in the hitman, Cody Bots. I'd use beats from Koju, from whoever else, and I'd rap on those. So did my beats improve? Absolutely yes. Like I tell people all the time, 6 years ago, I could not complete a beat. I could not make a beat 6 years ago. And then, honestly, it was a handful of YouTube videos that got me there. I remember one specific YouTube guy who basically told me all of the components that go into a rap beat that I was missing, because I would drag the drums, I would drag the piano, and I'd say, well, this sounds close enough. I had no idea that you needed bass. I had no idea that people were using bells and pads. That's kind of background atmospheric stuff. So really, a YouTube education, one video changed my whole thing entirely. Because I would watch, and even the beats I'd complete with, the boys, you're just so in the moment, you're not really reflecting and not really able to download what's happening. So we were getting stuff done, but it was almost like cramming for an exam. I wasn't really learning. But through this one YouTube video, some dude was like, here's the 5 tracks, here's the 7 tracks, the 7 sounds I use. I started using those. Okay, found some different sample libraries. Cool. And I was well on my way to improving the beats.
Are there shows that are significantly worse than others?
Yeah. Maybe no. Because we can lay it out on paper and we can look at, objective things that make a good show: a big crowd, an energetic crowd, ticket sales, merch sales, energy, reception. But I have literally played. One time I played at a club in Surrey, across the street from the train tracks. I think it was literally a Tuesday or like a Wednesday. It was not even like a Thursday. And when my set was going, there was one person in the crowd. But of course, I still went plus ultra. I still rapped outside of my lungs. And at one point, it was like a disbelief heckle from her. She goes, it's only me here, right? Like she could not believe that I was trying so hard for just her. But what she didn't understand is I was trying so hard for just me, because I'll go this hard in the mirror. I'll go this hard on a walk. I'll put the headphones in on a run, stop the run, put my arms out, look up to the sky, and let everybody know I'm having a, experience listening to a song.
Got it.
Let alone a song of mine. You had a live microphone and a speaker where I can hear my own voice to that? Nobody's safe. I don't care if there's one person. I don't care if there's 5,000. Do I bomb? I have never bombed. Like, if you think about stand-up comedy, for example, you're really trying things that, you don't know if they're going to work or not at an open mic, for example. And you might have started stand-up, which is a very different art than being the class clown at the back of the room, cracking jokes and getting laughs. But I think for me, the difference was I really grew very slowly over a long period of time, from elementary school through high school, through college, and now adulthood. If you put me on a stage bombing, if I bombed, my reaction would be that I was being pranked. I'm not even kidding. And it's not even like I remember some kid came up to me at the end of a show and he said, "Excuse me." And I said, "Yeah." He says, "How do you tell a joke when you know," he asked me, "How do you tell a joke that you know everyone's going to laugh at?" And I thought it was a great question. And I think the answer is to read the room, to start small. Like, you don't even joke at first. You can't just go up there and say, "I'm going to tell a joke." Obviously, a stand-up comedian, you kind of have to. Maybe they're expecting to laugh. Maybe they're, okay, sure. Music shows, they're not necessarily expecting to laugh. So I have that kind of advantage. Or hosting, which I do a lot. You just hit them with the info, and then you hit them with the tiny joke at the end, and you see, who chuckled at that? Did anyone? Okay, let's try a different route type deal. And maybe I'm just hammered in a space, or maybe I'm just being so authentic up there that no one has ever been like, "Yo, you are crap." Like, of course, I've had people that didn't like me, that didn't like my sets. I would perform at the SkyTrain and, literally thousands of people, this is a train station in Vancouver, thousands of people would walk by, give me their nods of approval, give me the thumbs up, tell me, "Oh my gosh, that's great." And then one guy would look at me, stop, shake his head, and keep walking. And yeah, that would gut me. That would gut me. But did that mean that my set was much worse? Absolutely not. As a rapper, I have never bombed. Is that a jinx? I just prepare so much. It's not even in my mind like a fear of bombing, because I'm going to enjoy it so much having the mic. Like Black Thought said, "The microphone feels like $1 million in my hand." And I attributed that line by saying, with a mic, I feel like Kratos. Like, I just don't, I can't even foresee. I'm enjoying talking right now. So how could it be bad when it's amplified in a higher stakes situation? I don't know. I don't think I could bomb.
What was the first video to get like 100,000? The first video, second video, what?
I did some Reddit live My buddy AJ actually recommended to me, Palace, you got to go on RPAN. This was during the pandemic. Is that why it was called RPAN? You learn something new every day. AJ would say, or AJ told me, dude, you got to get on this. People doing shows outside or people doing shows inside, la, 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 you'd be incredible. So I started doing some concerts from inside, which was cool, but I had 10 gigs of data. And at the time that was a lot 5 years ago. And I had been at home because of the pandemic. So I had loads of data and nobody was out. So I actually went to the park to start rhyming. And I think the visual of being outside when literally every other person was inside either drew the curiosity or drew the ire of people. So people were coming and commenting, why are you outside? Blah, blah, blah. Don't you know? Don't you know? Don't you know? Yes, I know. I'd take the camera and I would pan around and they could see that there was nobody within 1 kilometer of me. So I would rap about the comments. I was rapping about the comments, one of those. And, it got, the people are creative in the comments, as I'm sure you're well aware. And I remember one time, because I'm looking at my phone while I'm doing it, zabba-dabba-da, because you're been a man, rapping about whatever. Rap about the weather. It's warm, it's cold. I'm young, I'm old. Da, da, da. Sometimes it was played out. Sometimes I'd like hit a scheme and just bang, just gush the wound. And it would be great. And then I saw, the number of people watching was like 60. I was like, damn. That's wild. 60 people right now. Because I'd done an Instagram concert and plugged it hard, a few days earlier. And at the most people I had were 18 people. So I saw 60. Woo! And 60 turned to 110. And I was like, damn. And 110 turned to like 1,050. And the 1,050 turned to, a couple thousand. And I was just like, And that, I think, cracked 100K. And it's kind of predictable, like when you reference something that someone knows in rap, that's when they really go, oh, like, remember that thing we just did? All the freestyles I've done that have popped people, kind of just like the garage freestyles or whatever, it's been basically a summary of everything we spoke about that day. And I think part of the reason why people cheer at that is because they recognize the skill that like you couldn't have written this and you are just one with the energy, but also it's about them. So, excuse me, when I rap about them, that really got them going quite a bit. You got some mic issues here, Neal. So yeah, I would say that kind of got me to 100 grand. There's a couple more on the pipe, a few touches of virality that were coming. Few videos about, me monologuing, me kind of copying viral scores, viral hooks, if you will. And then you kind of piggyback on that. And next thing you know, you're kind of able to make whatever music you want and release it however you want. So not that I'm a content creation guru, but yeah, it's a good time.
So what do you think of that trajectory?
It's an honest one. Like I said, as a youth kind of figuring it out and slowly climbing, to kind of touching virality in the way that I did, finding my voice, finding my feet. We're still all kind of finding our voices to a degree. I can't speak for everyone, but it's certainly true for me. And yeah, it's just so honest for me. There was no massive injection at any time of, like I'm not talking someone came up and gave me, $1 million when I wasn't acclimated to it. It's like the money's almost an invasive species at that point where you aren't ready to get it. But my money, my status, my responsibility went up so incrementally slowly that I've been ready at every step. And I'm even ready for the next step now. I'm not really thirsty for fame per se. I am increasing in every category that I want to increase in: rap skill, network, money, portfolio, skills, venturing outside my comfort zone. So I'm pretty happy with how it's going. And I would wish this trajectory on anybody that is trying to climb. Because if you're a kid and you make a song, imagine you're a kid, you make one song, you pop off. You're not ready. Who knows if you were even being you during that song? What if you were being you, but only a small part of you in that song? And then that song pops off, and now all of a sudden you're the, guy who makes songs about his ex-girl. You made one song about your ex, it hit the zeitgeist, but really you want to make songs about soccer. And now you make songs about soccer and no one wants to hear them because you're not that guy. That's not why we're here. That's not who liked, commented, and subscribed on your stuff. So I've had this sprawling identity that's kind of kept me from really scratching the itch for a while. But then I kind of find out, okay, I'm going to dive into the conscious hip hop. I'm going to dive in, head first and really commit. And then that opened up the doors. So I feel for people that explode out of nowhere. I really, really do. I think that having a barely formed sense of self and then just being skyrocketed into, the global zeitgeist in that picture that you were as 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, yikes. But thank goodness I'm out of my early 20s.
Was like,
What was your low?
All of my lowest lows have been romantic. Like, sure, we all got family stuff. Like, and I guess those can be lows. And, there's some health issues and all that stuff. But like, I feel like the girl stuff is low because I had a part to play, If one of your friends does you dirty, it's like, ooh, yeah, but like that is on them. They chose to commit this offense. Whereas if it's like a romantic thing or a would have been romantic thing and you don't do it right, those are stingers. And of course, some of my most dastardly girl times and terrible, romance events have led to some of the best music that I've made. A lot of it is not available anymore on the interwebs because I had to clean it up. But my creative low, like I just so rarely have like writer's block. I'm just so happy to talk about whatever. Like, I'm one of those, it's like, you got writer's block? Write about having writer's block. I am one of those. So I don't really try to fight it. If I don't have anything to write about, I go live. And then I could see, the colors of the leaves or the seaweed that they have on sale or the, how someone was reacting in a car crash and think, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky that I drive like a grandpa. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I got that yogurt on sale before it doubled in price. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that I get to perform frequently while some people will scratch and claw and fight to get one performance. I get to perform whenever I want. I have the means. I live in a place where I can do it. I have the skill that I'm not kicked out. I'm blessed to be involved in a sound that is kind of like okay. What I mean by that is if you took like a 5-piece metal band and went to the SkyTrain station, probably wouldn't be as welcomed as me kind of waxing poetic over a neo soul sample. I'm sure that metal group would probably, a couple passerbys would probably delay their day to enjoy some of that music, I'm sure. But you're kind of more likely to be like, please, 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 not here. Well, it's like a one-person busker, You know, they say that life is Vancouver weather. That's not going to get me. No one's going to ask me to leave on that.
Got it.
Like I watched Back to the Future the other day, and so much of it is Marty McFly like, oh, I just want to perform. Oh, I just want to be in the band. Oh, and I'm just like, dude, I can grab my JBL party box on the go. I can walk to the corner. I can plug my mic in, and I can rock for 2 hours right there. No problem. So what is my low? How can it be low right now? Sure, things happen that, you know, my friends can be sad and my family members can be sick, and those things are just, I can't control those things. So how could I even really let them take me? You know, I have to live the best life I possibly can right now. I'm just trying to keep my plate spinning. And with the way I've designed my life so far and the very responsible choices I've made, the plates are all spinning really well. So aside from a few torrid, romantic mistakes, I've pretty much been smooth sailing, honestly. But those things were pretty crippling at times, for sure.
All right, do you wear it? Is it on you? If you're if you feel like you're self-sacrificing or abandoning yourself.
I can't do that anymore. I can't do it for too long. Like, I'll have a moment where I go, okay, I'm going to wear this. I'm going to self-sacrifice it. Cool. Let's take something arbitrary that might upset me. I'm not able to exercise. I hurt my leg. Can't exercise. All right. Find a way. Let's go. I'm going to just watch anime. And I'm going to enjoy that. Day one. Great episode. Wow, great episode. Amazing episode. It's really nice out. Oh, well, I accept this. Day two. It's a great episode. Yesterday's was a little better. Hey, that episode was even better than yesterday's. Wow. Okay, this isn't really scratching the itch anymore. Oh, it's so nice out. And then eventually I'll be crawling on, you know, I'll go outside and hop. I can't do the, my dissatisfaction. I have to take action, you know? And if it's like I won't sit in it. Sometimes, you know, if I'm at I'm a part of several families, and if I'm at one of the family gatherings and it's not going well, I'll go. I will leave. Maybe not forever. Maybe it just looks like taking a walk for a few hours and coming back. But I'm not going to sit. Why? I could sit there and snap eventually. And who's that going to serve? Take a break. Get out. So I will happily leave. I will happily take my time and get away, because no, I'm not trying to explode. No thanks.
If I were you and like, you know, somebody called for like, we need you to do this thing, and it's just gonna be like, I gotta be joyful, baby. It really is important.
Yeah.
You're not.
It's like
it's got the part of your appeal is spiritual. Have you done anything to get better with any of this? Have you therapy, medication?
Oh, dude. All right. Let's run it. So basically, did a lot of self-help book reading. Let's run the classics. Celestine Prophecy, 4 Agreements, probably top 2. Seed of the Soul, Bringing Your Shadow Out of the Dark. Those 2 were also tectonic. Right now, I'm doing The Artist's Way. The Artist's Way is huge. I've been doing morning pages for 3 years without reading the book. And yeah, I wake up every morning and write in my journal. And I feel like I have conversations with people and they're almost like live journaling to me. And I thought like, yo, dude, you would benefit so much if you had this journal. If you just journaled in the morning and could hear your thoughts, you would probably be coming to these conclusions. Because sometimes my friends have stuff to say, and really, They come to their own conclusions. Oftentimes, I don't even have to tell them. I don't have to tell them, oh, you should be more of this or you should be more of that. They know. They just have to speak their way and eventually get there. Therapy, yes. I went to the doctor one time and requested some medication. And I've been like a big conspiracy head my entire life. And it just put a chink in my armor when he said, I can give you this medication, but I think you can solve your problem with therapy.
Damn.
With talk therapy. And I said, what? I've watched so many documentaries and videos about how big doctors are just trying to squeeze us for every single dollar that we could possibly have and write us these prescriptions so they could get da-da-da-da-da. And this guy is recommending that I get soft help instead of taking a medication? My life is a lie. No, but that got me into I was like, well, I can't live this life where I've said, big pharma just wants, and all these doctors are in on it. And then when one doctor actually tells me, hey, go talk to someone, and I don't. So I took the medication and I spoke to someone. And that was huge. That was huge. Just getting tools, just bouncing off of someone who's not like, I spoke to my friends every day. I would have, tough days at work and come home and talk to them. And they would I was just wearing them out. And I thought that played into me having a therapist as well. So I got it. I got my therapist. And they just gave me the best tools, like nonviolent communication as a tool when you're talking to someone. Hey, when you did objective thing X that you did, when you unloaded the dishes when I told you I wanted to do it, it made me feel unheard. In the future, can we blah, blah, blah? It's like, oh, and that kind of plays into the Celestine Prophecy. In the Celestine Prophecy, they talk about control dramas, the 4 control dramas being the interrogator, someone that just asks you questions until you give them the wrong answer. Did you clean your room today? Yeah. You fold your clothes? Yeah. Take the dog out? Yeah. You pat his head 3 times? No. Well, maybe you should have patted his... The intimidator, someone just really going, if you don't do that, and blah, 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 blah. The aloof person. Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to pick you up from soccer. I thought maybe, the McLarens were going to give you a ride home. And then the world's favorite, poor me. Oh, I would have helped you, but it's just that my car broke down and, my toe hurts and my dad's sick and la, 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 la. And the thing is with those control dramas in the book, they mention that if you can make the person see that they're doing that, they might stop. So if you can make the person see oh, I think you're asking me questions until you want the wrong answer. They might be like, huh, I think I am. Damn. So reading those books, and a lot of these books have exercises in them that I just haven't done, like Seat of the Soul at the end of the chapter would be like, and now would write this, write that, write that. I was like, I'm not writing this stuff. I just want to read this before bed. But now doing the artist way, I'm really going hard at the exercises. And, I think your therapist should probably be giving you homework. And I did a lot of homework from my therapist. And yeah, I'm just kind of in a state of bliss about it all. I'm stoked and I'm really happy, in a good place, and kind of just not trying to be toxically positive, but really just trying to acknowledge that I'm in a happy spot. And instead of thinking oh my gosh, my friend it's so hard to make my friend happy. Is it really hard to put your phone down? That's all my friend wants. They just want a little bit of undivided attention. Is that hard? Well, yeah, but do I have to frame it that way? Or can I just be like, well, I actually know, like, how could something be really challenging if you know how to do it? You know, like, I feel like the challenging part is figuring out, like, oh, I can't lose weight. I tried eating less. I tried exercising more. I tried to like, okay. Yeah, that sounds hard. But if you know, let's say it was the same example, you know your body and you know to lose weight, you need to eat less and work out more. If it's worth it, you can do it. If you don't know and you have some issues, that's a different story. But it's the same thing, like, oh, my friend wants me to just pay attention to them. Maybe I can just do that. Maybe it's not that hard. So just reframing it has been a great thing.
ExpressVPN.com/Neal. What have the biggest challenges of your life been?
I think, big challenges for sure. And like I just said in my last question, I almost want to reframe. Like, it hurts me to admit my kind of ADHD, if you will. Never been diagnosed, but pretty obvious to everyone I've ever met. And I suppose that's a challenge in that, it's difficult for me to sit still. It's difficult for me to complete tasks, even in my art. To like lock into one genre is like, really? I have to make conscious hip hop now? I want to make some Radiohead, moody stuff. I want to make some rap rock. I want to make some, and then I'm appealing to all these different people that are like, that's not the sound I like. Kind of giving myself that same pain point that I was talking about those kids having earlier. But like, you have to specialize. And there's lots of, different rhetoric, narrative stories online about ADHD and how it can also be a superpower. And like, I want it to be that.
Got it.
I want to think, okay, I'm going to do something the best I can for 2 hours, and then I'm going to stop and I'm going to do something else. You could do something for 2 hours. It takes a lot. It takes binaural beats on my head. It takes meditation. It takes journaling. It takes a little piece of paper where if I want to be distracted, I want to check Reddit, I write on the piece of paper, check Reddit. And at my next study break, I'll do that. It takes deadlines, bringing my deadlines close. Like, okay, I have to do this. I said I would do this presentation in French in 2 days. It's not done. A week prior, I was twiddling my fingers, playing with my action figures, playing video games, and now it's 2 days to go and I have to get a little bit serious. And now it's 2 hours to go and I got to get pretty serious. So probably ADHD is a big challenge. And again, like, sure, maybe it's like the J. Cole song. I grew up in the city. I know sometimes we had less compared to some of the homies down the block, man, we were blessed. Like, sure, I would, other people would have more toys and stuff. And that made me feel how a kid would feel. But now I appreciate that stuff so much. And like, Napoleon Hill said in Think and Grow Rich, I believe the quote is, within each adversity lies the seeds of equivalent advantage. And that basically means it could be brutal, but you have a chance. And yeah, the challenges of like, I can't make a song. Now when I finish a song, I'm like, yes. I had all these girl problems. Now I have an amazing girl. Yes. I wanted to look this way. Like, growing up is just so fun to be able to access more things and have a deeper network. And now I have a friend who wants to take videos, and I have someone who could take photos, and I am connected with these people. I could throw events. I can do whatever I want. I'm doing it right now. I wanted to be on this podcast, and here I am. Nobody can stop me. Nobody can stop me from doing what I want to do. You take away my, ability to go tour in the schools, fine, I'll be on the corner of the SkyTrain. Kick me off the SkyTrain, fine, I'll be in the bathroom recording, my rhymes. Take away my microphone, I'll close my fist. Nothing can stop me. And I think Had I not been challenged, I would have just thought, this is no big deal. This is nothing. But because now, I come from an era where you were blessed if you had 2 headphones that were working. Now I don't have a broken headphone for one day. My headphone breaks, new one's coming. I can't fix it, new one's coming. I'm not holding the aux at the port trying to massage it and then, okay, both headphones work when I hold my thing this way. And then I'm holding it for entire walks. That's where I'm from. This isn't child soldier. This isn't, O-block people dying. It's minor inconveniences, but about things that were so important to me that now that they're gone, I feel magnetic to everything that I want. And I'm getting everything that I want. So, yes, I've been challenged, but I turn my traumas into triumphs, baby. What can I say?
I really appreciate you editing me and taking me out of context and using my cultivated vulnerability to make yourself feel some status as guest on the Blocks podcast. Powis HJ, everybody.
Thanks so much for having me, Neal. It's been amazing. Thank you so much.
I do believe that I was having a good time in the Xenosphere. I really enjoyed getting to know you.
Oh my God, I cannot walk.